All right, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Again, my part.
Sorry.
All right, I'll interrupt you, don't worry. This will be paybacks. All right, 3 questions. Let's hit it. 3, okay? How do you split up your kettlebell work? 3. What do I do, like that?
Yeah.
3?
It's weird.
3? 3?
All right.
3? I don't even know what hand signals are okay anymore.
So you're talking about I don't know. All right, let's leave that alone.
Like kettlebell programming. Like, am I doing bodybuilding styles or like a specific kettlebell way to do it? What do we think? What do we got?
There are a few options. The traditional way that people split up their workouts is, they got a chest day, they got a back day, they got a leg day. That's more of a traditional bodybuilding split. Rather than saying this is the right way, this is the wrong way, let's look at why. Bodybuilding requires volume. Okay, if you want to get bigger, you need to expose the tissue to a lot of reps,
Right.
time under tension, et cetera, et cetera. So if that's your goal, you can find other ways to manipulate that. But if that's not your goal, you have a little bit more leeway. So if you do want to get bigger from kettlebells, and you can, we've got a fair amount of muscle mass that we've gained, and we don't do a lot of other training.
Should have seen him before.
Yeah, look like the goat.
Emaciated and shit.
But you can definitely gain some mass with kettlebells, however you program. I've seen it every time somebody picks them up. But you can do we really like to split up our workouts between grinds and ballistics.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little bit more of a focus. They require different muscle action. They induce fatigue differently. So I find that I can do ballistics on a lot less rest than I can grinds. I can do ballistics pretty much every day. Because of the nature of the muscle contraction, I can't do the same grinds every day. I've got to give myself a little bit of a break. So split them up, ballistics and grinds. You can do an upper body, lower body day if that's what you want. You can do a kind of a quad dominant, let's say squatty type day. You can do a deadlifty, really hingy swing type of day. Whatever it is you want to do, there are a lot of options. Nothing wrong though with doing high volume of a particular type of movement if you're looking to gain a little bit of size. However, you do not need to do bodybuilding programming with kettlebells to get big.
Right.
That you need time under tension, you need some reps, you need less rest, and we highly, highly, highly recommend double bell work because it really makes a big difference.
Without a doubt. Question number 2. All right. What are your rep ranges? Wait. 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, what are your rep ranges for general physical preparedness?
So there's in fitness there's GPP and SPP.
And OPP, yeah, you know me.
Oh wow. How many people are gonna get that?
I don't know, probably more than the Kansas reference.
Send some messages. There a lot of strength coaches think that there's only GPP. They think that everything else is just they think sports specific stuff isn't really a thing. They think it's not really effective. So I don't know if the question that we got was really going there, differentiating between the two. But if you're looking at, the way we'll take the question is, what are good numbers for most people to hit if you're not looking to specialize in a particular movement? And what are good numbers to hit if you're looking at just a basic base of, let's say, conditioning or strength? The easiest way for us to remember this in most cases is 150. So 100/50. So 100 is a fair number of ballistics. Obviously, it's going to be lifter specific, situation specific. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to do? But we have found that people are able to do 100 swings, 100 snatches, more or less, in a particular workout without breaking down. As you go above that, people's form will sometimes deteriorate unless they're really advanced. You can certainly go below that and get great results, but 100 for ballistics is a really good place to kind of set your mark. As soon as you have moved past the beginner phase and you've gotten some adequate movement with your kettlebell skills. 50, let's stick that, that's ballistics. Grinds, we can look at that 50 number. So one thing we look at when we do our 1-5-1 method of programming, the 5 is about ladder training. It's 1 to 5. So we have a kind of informal standard that once you can hit 3 ladders of 1 to 5, you're probably ready to bell up a little bit, go a little heavier. And when you separate that between arms, you've got 15 each arm, each ladder. That adds up to 45.
Yeah, I think so.
Carry the two, yeah.
Yeah.
That adds up to 45. So right around 50. That we find is also useful for squats as well.
Yeah.
So when you go above that, sometimes you get into a little bit too much soreness, and that's very lifter specific. I can do more presses than that comfortably. I think you can too.
Yeah, I get up there sometimes,
But a lot of the times you've got to consider your goal, the number of rests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't like doing a ton of reps. Like 50 get-ups is a lot of get-ups. Can you do it? Yeah.
It takes a minute, but
but so we're really looking more at like squats and presses. Things like windmills and other things that might be mobility or accessory work. We keep those reps much lower just because we don't think that they provide as much benefit in training them at higher volumes than other things do.
True.
It's really it's mobility work. Keep it low, make it useful, and then get on to whatever else you need to do.
Excellent. Question number 3. All right, what's the carryover between kettlebell training and the barbell?
Wait a second.
Wait,
Didn't you start with 3 questions?
and that's why this is question number 3. 3?
But
Plus
you didn't
one.
do first question though.
That's all right. There'll be a graphic.
Okay.
They'll get it. Like before I said, let's start.
Okay. So what?
Okay, all right. So what's the carryover between your kettlebell training to the barbell and like barbell training in that sense?
Lots.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. This is not an exact answer. It's going to vary for people in different contexts. What we can both say and what we've seen over our time coaching is that doing kettlebell training will get people stronger at barbell skills. We've seen huge improvements with doing things like deadlifts and squats, overhead presses by working with kettlebells. So that way really makes sense. Now the question though that you need to consider is what else are you doing?
Right.
Now it's clear that kettlebells are enough to stimulate strength and growth in other areas, but I'm not big into barbells. You're not big into barbells.
I don't even know why I own one, but
so the question I think really would be how much kettlebell works for, let's say, a competitive powerlifter. Now
Right.
we do know of scenarios where competitive powerlifters have picked up kettlebells and put on load and made themselves more resilient. That has happened. So we know of those cases. Those cases do exist. But I suspect that as you get into higher levels of barbell training, that your kettlebell training will probably want to decrease.
Right.
Whereas you can do kettlebell training and then just kind of go casually lift your barbells and you're probably still going to be solid. But I think to really look at this, I think we should examine types of strength. There's fast strength and there's slow strength. So something called the force velocity curve that they've outlined with muscles, and different people have different reasons why they think it works. But basically your muscles can contract really fast or they can contract really hard. So you can move weight quickly or you can move weight maximally. You can't do both. There's overlap in the middle, but if you want to move really fast, you can't move really heavy. So different kettlebell skills are going to train different types of strength. So we should consider that. So for example, we want to look at specifically slow strength in this case, because that's what your barbell training usually is, unless it's Olympic lifting. Mm-hmm. So let's say your power lifts, that's slow strength. But there is this, there is a benefit to doing fast strength. You look at these, West Side barbell guys, and they do some really cool stuff with, bands, chains, acceleration, tempo, to kind of juice the system. That is a supplement to their main training. Right. So that's something to keep in mind. So fast strength does seem to help slow strength, but you're going to have to play with the amounts that you're using there. When you're looking at slow strength kettlebell helping slow strength barbell, you're going to run into some problems with load. Now, I would say a kettlebell press, not as big of a deal, because I find a lot of people can keep a barbell press roughly the same as a double kettlebell press. But when you get into squats, you're going to run into some trouble. Right. I've never seen anyone put up 800 pounds with
kettlebell rack.
the double rack. Now, that being said, though, you may want to consider doing your kettlebell, your double rack, to get stronger through here in order to improve your
Support that
squat.
weight.
So I would say fast strength will transfer back and forth pretty well. You do have to adjust your your amounts, because you don't, if you're a power lifter, you don't want to do, kettlebells aren't your thing. You don't want to do too much of them. They can help you though, so definitely worth a shot for a variety of reasons. But when you get into your slow strength, you really have to look at load. If the name of the game is to move more load and you're significantly dropping your load, I just don't see.
Wait.
Sorry. We should edit that or no?
No. I mark these aren't safe for kids anyway.
Oh, okay,
so.
cool. But if you're constantly lifting less weight than you could otherwise lift, probably not going to get the results that you need or that you want.
Got it. Awesome. Hey, guess what? Let's do a bonus real quick for the people.
For which people?
Anybody who's curious.
Oh, okay.
We talked a lot about programming and like how to many reps and how do you split it up. Well, let's carry over to that. But let's start at the beginning. Let's start with a warm up. We all probably should warm up or not. What do you think?
So this is one of those moments where you ask a question that you really want an answer to, and then some asshole gives you
Depends. He's like sponsored by them or some shit.
It gives you this vague non-answer, and that's what you kind of have to get today. Warm-ups range. Some people need them, some people don't. There are certain physiological requirements for safe movement, but they're very context dependent. Mm-hmm. There are so many things that are going to be relevant. Injury is such a multifactorial thing, which is something you have to consider, and you also have to consider how effective you are. So some general rules of warming up. If a warm-up is necessary, target the tissues in question. It doesn't need to be a direct target, so you can use get-ups to warm up your shoulders, totally cool. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of stuff in a get-up, and honestly, doing some get-ups before every workout, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, it gets you in the right frame of mind. You're holding some kettlebells, you're moving your entire body.
And you're mobilizing and warming up just about all of this stuff. So not such a bad idea. But you're going to want to target the tissues, and if there's a specific quality that you want to warm up, you're going to want to warm up that quality. Mm-hmm. So let's say put your arm overhead for me. So let's say we want some overhead mobility. Okay, let's just go ahead and do just like a simple arm circle, or do some twists and turns, whatever. Ooh. That's just working the soft tissue and getting it ready to move. We can really tack down the midsection, get this nice and stable, so you're really moving through the joint. That's something to consider. But let's say we're working with overhead fixation in the snatch. So when we're getting into what we call movement qualities, and the movement quality you're going to require is, yes, you're going to require overhead mobility, but you're going to require a very particular type of stability. Hold on a second.
And that's all. Just kidding. So, keep watching.
So go ahead and hold that. So hold it better. So arm all the way up. So
he means he doesn't want it to let go and lose an eyeball here.
So I'm still here.
He's sort of here.
But if I don't want you to move. So I'm working the soft tissue. I'm making sure that these stabilizing muscles are doing stabilizing things. He's doing a pretty horrible job.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not really happy with this.
He's really wrenching on me, folks.
Relax. But in that scenario,
I'm already warm.
If you are doing no, okay. No redemption. We'll have to wait for the next video. But if you're doing a particular, if you're warming up a particular set of tissues for a particular reason, then obviously you want to do that. You may not need to do much of anything, Yeah. So it really is going to depend. But some general rules: if the warm up is required, warm up the right tissues, the right joints in the right way. Don't make it too long. There are people who are spending 45 minutes on their warm-up. Like, I gotta warm up my feet, I gotta warm up my neck, I gotta work my eye reflexes and work on my vestibular system. This is all cool stuff, and you all may need it. I do a lot of these things myself when I need them. But if you have a 45-minute warm-up, you're probably going to have a bad workout. Now, certain people, you work out for a living, you're doing, taking a sports drink, that's totally cool. You're bullshitting with your friends, posting on Instagram, no big deal. But for most of us, 45 minutes isn't going to cut it. So keep it short, keep it specific.
Yeah, hell, all I have to work out is 45 minutes normally, so that'd be warm up for life, I guess. There you go. Perfect.
Ready to go.
Yeah. How was that? This is finger specific. Anyways, thanks for joining us. If you have questions, we will answer them. Put them in the comments, message us, do all those fun things. And until next time, stay strong.